This is the Storm and Willow podcast, a lighthearted, balanced examination of the paranormal.
Hello, friends and Adele. Sarah here. It's Yule Week.
Yule Week.
Yuletide. Woohoo!
Yay. I thought you said Yule, like YOU''LL, and I was like, do you mean your? It's my week.
It's Yule Week, y'all. I want to see that at a Southern Christmas show. Instead of like, it's Christmas, y'all, I want to see it's Yule, y'all. Well, that's what I'm going to put on my porch. But anyway, I mean, we're wrapping up 2022, and I'm for one, I'm kind of glad.
Yeah.
This is what, we've got a new year coming ahead, and we've got the holiday season here upon us. But I'm so excited because Adele's coming home. So I'm really excited to see her and her beautiful wife and just hang out and catch up and go do something spooky.
Yeah, I really am looking forward to doing something spooky.
And I think Steven's really excited to have you guys here and have his partner in crime, Amanda, to love the Christmas season as much as him.
Yeah, they can like stay there and admire the Christmas tree and watch all their Christmas movies while we go do something paranormal.
Yeah. Well, I finally have my friend here to do that.
Bye. We're gonna do Halloween stuff.
Yes. Oh, so how are you? You getting ready for your big road trip?
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it. We like road trips. We don't really mind driving cross country.
Well, that's good. You've done it a few times.
Yeah, I know. We used to think Chicago was a long drive.
Right.
But I don't know. It's nice to be able to bring the pups. So
that is always nice.
Fun.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure the airports will be so crowded too.
Yeah.
So it's probably.
It's like either way, right? Either way, I'm stuck somewhere all day. I'd rather be in the open road. Yeah. For sure. Oh my gosh. Well, guys, we have some really exciting news. Should we tell them what we just did? Sure. So we just, for the first time ever, were interviewed on an amazing podcast, Through the Abyss, which I think that we have talked about on the show before. But if you haven't listened to it, go check it out. It is truly amazing. And if you love the paranormal, but you're also a true crime junkie, you will really love it because they cover both. And Mandy, we met Mandy when we were at Bobby Mackey's. And I joke that, we didn't come home with a spirit, but we did come home with a friend and a mentor. So we were so delighted and just beyond honored that she wanted to interview two amateurs like us. So we really appreciate the opportunity, and that episode will air on New Year's Day. So we hopefully didn't sound too stupid. I did one stupid thing, but other than that. Do you know how many times when I listen to the playback of our shows during editing, I'm like, that was just the wrong word that I said. I don't even know why I said that. I called a cemetery Bon Ivers, which is a musician, not a cemetery. A great musician. So I don't know. I'm not really sure what happened there. But anyway, it was a really good time, and we were seriously honored and stoked because Mandy is she is just a plethora of knowledge. And so for her to want to talk to us, we were just kind of like, what? Pitching ourselves. Yeah, we were very humbled. Very humbled. Very, very humbled. And we learn a lot from Mandy. So, and I love that she'll give us feedback too, and guide us because, it might be a shocker to you that we're not professionals. I mean, I know we always come across as super buttoned up. We do. But, we got to be honest with you guys. We're amateurs. At everything we do. Pretty much at life. I mean, and I'm in my 40s, so I'm going to need to learn to grow up pretty soon. And you've clearly had past lives. I mean, I've even had past lives. And this isn't even your first rodeo. This is even my first time here, and I still can't get it together. It's called the human experience. Well, speaking of experiences, would you like what I did? That was a good segue, but I have absolutely no events because it's the holidays. There's nothing happening really that I could find until like the first of the year.
I love it. So pretty much just, listen to our podcast, listen to Through the Abyss podcast, and eat a lot of good cookies and drink some eggnog. And yeah, sounds good.
And just enjoy the time off, I say.
Enjoy the time off, yes.
Just get into your cozies and comfies.
Your cozies and your comfies.
And rest.
I just don't hibernate.
See, I'm getting sleepy just thinking about it.
Well, the topic is yours, so you better wake up.
Yeah, I know. I love how Mandy was like, "What is your topic?" And I was like, "I don't remember the lady's
You're
name."
Like, oh. It was pretty funny.
I was like, "I know what the topic is."
Like, I know it's a possession, but I don't know. I
just can't remember who.
I mean, there's just so many.
Way to put me on spot like that.
Oh, so funny. Well, before we get into your topic, would you like to hear your Yule scope?
Is that a for real thing? A Yule scope?
No, it's not.
Okay. I didn't know if it was like I don't know, something related to Yule.
It's not at all, actually, but it's just your astrology for this week. I'm gonna tell you what's happening.
Okay. Actually, I'm not. The tarot forecast I did last week.
I loved it.
Wasn't very accurate for one of my Scorpios.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, one of our Scorpios it was.
Yeah, so I don't know. That was like half and half.
There's one Scorpio who was our mom. I think she won't be mad if we tell. She is officially Yoga Alliance, and we are so proud. I don't think I've ever seen mom bust her ass as hard as she has to get the certification. Like, the yoga that she has been doing, it's intense. Like, all these hours of hot yoga and just learning about, everything. Like, and working a full-time job.
Yeah.
And our mom, and not that age has anything to do with it, but our mom is in her 60s. I mean, she doesn't look a day over like 40. She looks like she's like our sister. And she's freaking amazing. And we're just so proud of her for putting in that time to get that certificate, because it really was not easy at all. And
she's been going at it for months.
Yeah, since June. Like hardcore since June. And so now she is licensed to teach, and look out, world. Here she comes, getting zen with Sandy.
There you go.
I love it. Well, okay. So my astrology is from astrology.com, and I feel like they are always tried and true. So
yeah,
I'm just going to read this to you all because it was just written so beautifully. I don't think I could do a better job. So,
okay. So you just jotted this down right before you tuned in, is what you're saying?
Yes.
So you didn't paraphrase?
Yeah, I did. Hey. You know me. Hey, at least I knew what I was talking about.
Hey, that's true.
I knew I was doing it.
This will be a cold reading, so you're just going to read it. It'll be the first time you see it.
This is a cold reading from astrology.com. Here we go. As the year comes to a close, we will enjoy pleasant and sweet blessings like twinkling little stars. This week will be magical, giving us the opportunity to truly connect. New moons in Capricorn on 12/23 as we enjoy the holidays and reflect on tradition and legacy. Also, an awesome moment to consider new traditions and legacies. A good mantra for the week.
Your ghost hunt for every Christmas.
Right? Could be our Christmas ghost hunt for sure. And a good mantra you might want to recite this week is, "Who I was has led me to be who I am now. And for that, I am grateful." I like that. And I also just wanted to kind of jump back to last week when we talked about the winter solstice. That's coming up on the 21st. And if you want to celebrate that this year, if it's something, I mean, you listeners are probably like, we've celebrated that our entire life, dumbass. So, but I haven't. So if I have any listeners that have not celebrated that, things you can do is
we're just always tardy to the party. I mean, you still don't even do online banking.
Listen, but I really did. I got to upgrade on my phone now, so I traded in my 7 for the 14
with no apps on it because
Listen, okay.
You'll get there.
I'll get there. I'll get there. Baby steps. Baby steps. So the first thing about winter solstice is to pay attention to the sky because it's going to be super dark. So it might be a really good night for some stargazing. It's a good night to just reflect on where you've been. You can also bring more light into your home. You can hold a gratitude ceremony where you just go around saying, I'm so grateful that we were invited to be on Mandy's podcast. Whatever, you're grateful for, say it out loud. And then one of my other favorite things for every festivity is have a feast. Just go on, have a feast. Yeah. Have a feast. And then I thought this was so cool too. It's a great day to make natural garland. So, have you seen the garland that's like the oranges, like represents the sun, like that natural garland? Like, it's a great day to just get your hands in some nature.
Yeah, so, I made one of those last year.
They're so cool. I tried to make it. Really good. It smells so good, but I messed mine up.
You have to bake it on low for a really long time.
Yeah, I think I turned mine on high just to try to get it done faster, and it was not. Don't do that. I mean, it smelled wonderful, but it did not hold up. So,
and you have like fear of fire.
I know. So it's just, I'm not really good at crafts, so that won't be something I will be doing, but I can look at the stars and hopefully not fuck that up too much.
I think that should be okay.
I think I could get the all clear to do that.
That's kind of set up for you by nature.
I can look up and reflect and speak.
Watch you look up and have like a bird shit on your forehead or something.
I just love that you're speaking this into my life, Adele. I really do.
Hey, but it's good luck for a bird to poop on you.
What? Said no one ever. Who said that? No one said that.
I thought it was supposed to be good luck.
What if it poops on your car, like where your head would be?
No, it has to be on you, your person.
So I was like, my car is covered in shit. So I am like riding around in some good luck.
It has to be your physical person. I've heard that it's good luck to get pooped on by a bird. I've never been pooped on.
I'm calling bird shit.
You've been probably peed on by Birdie.
My dog, for sure.
There you go.
I mean, who hasn't been peed on by Birdie?
Dude, she like angry peas.
No, Birdie is like the kid on Home Alone that Kevin has to share a room with.
She needs rubber sheets.
That's Birdie. And I just want to tell you, we watched Home Alone last night because I just really wanted to watch it, and it's been years since I have. It still holds up. It's so funny. I literally laughed out loud, just like the little smart ass remarks that Kevin makes to his family.
See, I think this shows that I'm grown up now because we watched it because Amanda has to watch all of her seasons movies. And I was like, that kid is such a little shit. If he talked to me like that, I would spank his little bottom. How can he talk to his mother like that?
I guess I reverted because I started laughing so hard, especially like when she like grabs him by the arm and takes him upstairs, and she's like, "Get upstairs!" Like, I am upstairs, dummy.
Yeah, I would be like, "Ooh, where's a birch stick?"
I love it then when she's like, "I don't want to see you again for the rest of the night.
I don't want to see you again for the rest of my life."
Yes. But I don't know, like his brothers and sisters are so rotten to him too, though.
Oh yeah, they're all just horrible. They're kind really of a horrible family.
Those kids are bad. I'm like, you're getting a trip to Paris and you're acting rude as hell. Let's sit down.
Like, yeah, they're mean. They don't seem like very good people.
But that is funny. I love the part like whenever at Home Alone 1 when she's in the FedEx truck, or not the FedEx truck, but the budget rental truck or whatever with John Candy, and then she's like I've done some bonehead things too about being a parent, and then she's like, have you ever left one of your kids on vacation?
He's like, no, when I left one at a funeral home.
Yeah. And then he's like, I was just trying to make, she's like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. He's like, you brought it up, I was just trying to make you feel better. Just like the little things. I don't know. I
think he completely ad-libbed that.
He probably did.
I did leave the kid at a funeral home overnight.
Poor
little guy.
And then he was like, he finally came back to started talking again 4 to 6 weeks.
I love how he like tries to get her to play the clarinet. Like,
clarinet. She's like,
and she's just like,
no. That's what I should have done. Say no to band instruments. Just say no. You're still a dark path, kids.
That'll be another episode, the abuse of marching bands.
Yeah. You want to hear a truly haunting tale? We got them for you.
Yeah.
So if I remember correctly, you rolled on possessions.
Yes, I did. Well, I kind of already told you what it's about.
You go ahead.
So this is the possession of Anna Ecklund. That is a pseudonym. Her real name was Emma Schmidt. I don't know why they always do that. They always do like a pseudonym, it seems, with these, and then everybody finds out who it really was.
Yeah, it's like they don't really do a good job of really protecting the person.
Yeah, it's like, so if you ever have an exorcism by the Catholic Church,
just go by your real name.
They're going to figure out it was really you.
We know exactly who it was Sarah Sellers.
Yeah.
And now you're going to talk about me.
That's right.
I don't know. I think when I was Kevin's age, I probably was possessed.
It's kind of, well, he's a little young. We'll get into that. Because if you listen to some of our previous episodes, I covered the possession of Roland Doe,
which is my favorite pseudonym ever.
It was also a pseudonym for, what was his real name? Like Ronald something like Hunkler or something.
Yeah.
So obviously they didn't keep his identity a mystery either, but his story was what inspired The Exorcist. Right. Now there have been, I think, recent movies, maybe like 2015-ish, on this case of Anna Ecklund. So she's also super possessed and Hollywood worthy, I suppose.
A Hollywood worthy possession. Now that says something right there. That's just not like, your run of the mill everyday possession.
Yeah. We'll talk about it once I share the story, but there were a lot of commonalities, I think, between her and Roland Doe's possessions. Now, hers was earlier though. So this was she was born in 1882.
Oh, okay.
So some of the holes I find in this, just like Roland Doe's, it's hard to match people and places and timing of things, which bothers me. But especially this being in the 1800s, maybe the records weren't as good. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
So I guess we'll just start at the beginning. So Anna Ecklund, aka Emma Schmidt, was born in Marathon, Wisconsin on March 23rd, 1882. She was an Aries.
Steven.
Yeah. And her parents...
It's so funny because he was born in 1982.
Past life much?
Right? No, wait. He was 1981. I'm 82.
Oh, yeah, you are 82.
But still,
there's another significant date that'll resonate later.
Uh-oh.
So her parents, we believe, were German immigrants. Anyway, we're just going to say that supposedly they were German immigrants.
Okay.
Like I said, there's a lot in this case where it's hard to corroborate. She was devoutly Catholic.
Okay.
That's already off to a good start, right?
Yeah, we got it for sure.
Yeah, and she regularly attended church. She was raised by her abusive father, who was also an alcoholic. We believe his name was Jacob, and he was not very pro-Catholic. So I'm sure there was some conflict there.
Sure.
We believe her mother was the one that was the Catholic influence on her, but she may have died around 1890, and I don't have a name for her.
Okay.
So just putting it out here.
That just sucks. So it's like almost like you don't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no history of you as
I think it's there again. I think it's figuring out who this really is.
Well, yeah, I shouldn't say that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so hard to find a record. Like, that's sad to just think there are probably so many undocumented people that, we don't have records for. That's kind of sad. Yeah. So just as backstory, like, some believe that her mother was named Anna Schmidt,
and they were actually Swiss immigrants.
Okay.
So there's just some problems
a lot of
who they really were.
Right. We don't really know.
The possession itself, I think, sounds pretty cohesive as far as what happened. So
gotcha.
That's why I'm just kind of putting all those disclaimers like out there. Like we don't really know for sure who her parents were. It's just kind of lost the history at this point.
Right.
But anyway, it sounds like no matter who she was in Marathon, Wisconsin, raised by her alcoholic father, and he was pretty abusive.
Not a good situation. And especially being a female during that time too.
Yeah. So things just kind of start to get weird when she turns 14. So she began having violent thoughts when she entered churches. She would even fantasize about hurting the priests. She would think about like desecrating some of the sacred relics there.
Oh, okay.
And she was unable to even receive communion. At one point, it would make her vomit every time she would try. Okay. So she was very like repulsed and angry in the church. And this even like evolved to her feeling very sick when she would enter the church. And so it just made her have extreme aversion to even go to church and even religious objects. And this was one account. I'm just like, this one seemed way out of left field. One account said she also started participating in, I quote, intense sexual acts. I don't know.
Intense?
Right. I'm just like, what is this? So there's that. And then finally she just stopped attending church. She just like couldn't do it anymore, the aversion. But this also made her grow very depressed and made her feel kind of lonely and isolated.
Sure. Because I wonder if she found comfort in the church after losing her mom. So that was like something that was important to her mom. Or, you know what I mean? I don't know.
It sounds like throughout the story she is very devoutly Catholic, which will kind of, you'll hear more about that. So I think it did make her feel sad to not go to church regularly. And it's speculated that the source of her problems were likely the abuse of her father and her Aunt Mina. So Aunt Mina was a practicing witch.
Okay.
And she supposedly put curses on Anna.
Okay.
Also, some accounts claim that Mina was having an affair with her father, Jacob.
Okay.
So there again, I'm kind of like, well, at the time of the mom's death or like post-death, like it sounds like she was friendly with Jacob either way and very mean to Anna.
Oh, Anna.
So a local church, in some accounts, contacted Father Theophilus Reisinger. I'm going to call him Father Theo moving forward.
Yeah, Theo.
And in other accounts, her family was who made the contact. So he was contacted by somebody.
Okay.
He was born German, and he joined the Capuchins order at age 20.
Okay. I don't know.
Aren't Capuchins a type of monkey? I think they are.
Maybe. I was like, that sounds familiar. I know I'm not referring to Catholic.
Yeah. Anyway. So this was a Franciscan order, and they had very strict vows of like regular prayer and taking, poverty very serious.
Right.
And then he immigrated to the U.S. and ended up moving to the Midwest in 1912. So he's kind of in that area where she is, and that's why how he was contacted. So upon meeting Anna, he noticed her reaction to religious objects, like how off-put she was, and he wanted to test if she was faking it. So he sprayed her with fake holy water, and she didn't react. She had no reaction. So, usually like possessed people, it like burns.
Right.
Well, if she was faking it, she would have probably been like,
yeah, that was smart tactic.
Yeah, so no reaction. And then on June 18th, 1912, he performed his first exorcism on Anna. And it actually seemed to work. She returned to normal. And he actually ended up getting a great reputation for being able to successfully do exorcisms.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it worked for a little while.
I was about to say, then. Dun.
This did not last long. After the deaths of her father and her Aunt Mina, she thought that their spirits were actually tormenting her.
Oh.
Yeah, yikes. So Father Theo was called for a second exorcism. And this time he requested that his friend Reverend Joseph Steiger help and allow him to do the exorcism at his parish in Erling, Iowa. So Erling, Iowa, it's a really small town. So he was like, this is great. There's a convent where Anna can stay with the nuns, and we can keep this pretty secret.
Right.
Small town.
Sounds like a good thing.
So we'll do that. So Anna arrived at Erling on August 17th, 1928. So it sounds to me like she stayed overnight with the nuns.
Gotcha.
And then later she reported feeling, just like that rage and stuff while she was at the
all
convent.
over again.
Yeah, and so she felt the urge to hurt the nuns who were there. Oh, and she would even refuse to eat their food and take their drink because she could tell it was blessed. Yeah. So then, the exorcism takes place on August 18th.
Oh, is that somebody's birthday?
Yeah, somebody pretty special. In 1928. So she was tied to an iron bed and held by the strongest nuns.
Oh God. I don't need to laugh at that imagery, but right. I just
like how did
I'm picturing Whoopi Goldberg and Sister Act.
Who are her strongest nuns? I picture the lady like from Matilda, like the mean principal, like throwing kids around like
the Sound of Music.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, here she is getting held down by the strongest nuns.
Oh my Lord. That's horrible for the nuns too. I mean, it's not a good situation.
Tying this kid down and holding her down, like, ugh. Oh. I mean, but this all sounds like classic exorcism kind of stuff, right?
Right.
Like being tied down, being held down.
If we had $1 for every time we've had to do this.
Right. So there again, this sounds a lot like the Roland Doe case.
Yeah.
When Father Theo began the rites, Anna's eyes closed as if she was sedated. And then she suddenly freed herself and leapt high up against the wall and began to scream. So picture her like kind of like stuck in the corner of the
creepy,
like classic demonic possession kind of stuff, right? Really
that is nuts.
Yeah. So when Father Theo demanded the name of who was possessing her, she would say Minnie. Yeah. So she claimed to be possessed by Beelzebub, Judas, her own father, and her Aunt Mina.
Oh, so we got 4 entities in this little thing.
And this little 14-year-old girl. I think she's still 14. Oh no, this is some years later. She's like maybe in her 20s at this point.
I mean, she's still a youngin'. Maybe not for that time, but
this young lady. So supposedly Judas was there to make Anna commit suicide because if you remember, after he betrayed Jesus, he
committed suicide
himself.
Grim.
Her father was there because he wanted revenge for her refusing a sexual relationship with him.
Oh.
And not gonna lie, like whenever I, hear he's alcoholic and abusive, I assume there was probably sexual abuse.
Likely.
And Mina was supposedly there because she placed a curse on Anna with the help of her own father. So, yeah, she's got some baddies in her. So the exorcism, they actually did like 3 exorcisms throughout this whole time. So that first one took place in August, and then the 3 sessions, I guess, like continued through December 23rd. So about 4 months of 3 sessions of exorcisms.
And that seems so exhausting and brutal, and just I can't imagine.
Yeah, and just wait till you hear so during these exorcisms, she experienced vomiting bile, defecating herself, her body contorting in really unnatural, uncomfortable ways. She was even, claimed to be speaking various languages that were unknown to her, even using different voices.
Oh, gross.
Some say she was even telling people present in the room information about them that she couldn't possibly know. I don't have any examples of that, but it seems like she knows things she should not know.
Known about them, yeah. Especially like if they're nuns and stuff, they're pretty private.
Yeah.
Especially during that time.
I wonder if she's like saying anything like really embarrassing about them too, though.
Oh God, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
Like, I don't know, like calling you out on bad stuff you do.
Yeah. Oh.
In some accounts, she hissed like a cat.
No.
Howled like a pack of dogs.
Oh.
Levitated in the air.
Of course.
And holy water burnt her skin.
There it is.
So finally, at 9 p.m. on December 23rd, she claimed to be free from all of the entities. Just like that. Okay. She's just like, they're gone. I'm free.
That seems interesting.
Yeah. So then I'm sure she had a very Merry Christmas that year. Conveniently, she's fine the day before Christmas Eve. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like she actually went on from there to lead like quite a normal life. Like,
really?
Very anticlimactic, right?
Yeah, for real. Like, okay, I'm good now. Bye. Thank you.
Yeah. And one account, I heard that she had a third exorcism at age 46, but I couldn't find other accounts of that for sure.
Right.
And then there are other accounts that say after this day, she was still kind of possessed, but it was manageable.
That's just so like, thanks for the exorcism. Have a happy holiday. Like,
right. So I don't know. Like I said, I have a lot of problems with this one.
Yeah.
I mean, it is one of the more popular stories. There have been movies made about it. I mean, it sounds classic Exorcist kind of stuff.
Sure.
But I don't know. Like, I have a problem with not clearly knowing who her parents are and where they're from. It could be bad record keeping. I don't know. Maybe it's just hard because it's from the 1800s.
Right.
And one thing that also bothers me is why was this so secretive? Like, why did they have to make this exorcism such a secret? Like, why was that so important for the second one?
I mean, could it have been because of like the small town she was in? Like, she wanted to try to live somewhat of a normal life.
Because it just sounds to me like with the first exorcism, like it sounds like the church people potentially were like, yeah, this lady's possessed. Can you please exorcise her? And then she returns home and, then gets possessed again. I'm just like, why was the second exorcism so important to keep under wraps? No. So that kind of bothers me. There again, like just not much to it. This one, it sounds a lot like the Roland Doe case. What do you think? Possessed or not?
I think I'm on the fence. I think it's emotional trauma. Maybe more so than
I think so too.
It seems just like based on what we know, there's a lot of sexual abuse there. You have the young, losing her mom at such an early age, her dad and his issues, and this evil aunt that's in her life. I almost like wonder if it was just like a breakdown. You know what I mean? Like a mental breakdown more than anything. And then I wonder, but what I think is weird, like I could see where she would want to seek refuge maybe at a place like where the nuns lived, like oratory or whatever. Like she might have felt safe there, and I can see that why she would have stayed there for so many months. But what I don't understand, the thing that the story just seems weird to me, is that she had like 3 more exorcisms during that span, like from August to December.
Right. It's like the way they make it sound is it's one big exorcism in 3 that different
took place over different
sessions.
But then how is it all of a sudden like, okay,
now I'm good.
Yeah, like that
just part. Very odd.
That's the part to me that seems a little like, and I would like to know what happened to her after. Like, I mean, I know you said that from what you could find, it seems like she just lived kind of a very unclimactic life after that. But that just seems odd that you would just be over something like that.
I mean, from accounts, it sounds like she just went back to her normal life, was still a devout Catholic again, and died in her 50s.
It just seems, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And then what about, this is weird. Yeah. I don't know that it's an actual possession.
Yeah.
But then, like, the levitating, what could that be? I mean, could that just be
unless it's all is it just lies? Like, I don't
Because
know.
I could see emotional trauma, like the defecating, the throwing up, that sort of thing. Like that could definitely be emotional trauma. But like the part with the levitating part, I'm like, what do they mean by that?
Right. And to be able to like spring out of the grasp of really strong nuns and being
Yeah,
tied down to
I mean
sticking
that
to like a
could,
wall.
yeah, like that's another part. Like that's the part I'm just, I don't know about. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Like,
like a lot
are we using
bothers
the
me.
term levitate very loosely here?
And
Like, so
I
you mean
hate
to
to
say
say
she like
this,
flung herself up from the bed, like
right?
sprung? Like, I don't know.
And I hate to say this, but it sounds like the only witnesses were, devout Catholics.
So they're
And
going to follow the order.
but they also truly believe that when you take communion, it really is the blood and flesh of Christ.
Like it turns into that.
So I'm not trying to sound ugly, but like, maybe they really believed she levitated when she didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, and it's sad because there's not any video documentation, obviously back then of these events. And so
Yeah,
it's just you can't really say like I don't know. I just feel like levitated might that term might be used a little loosely in this scenario,
yeah,
possibly. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that her story is so sad and horrible, but I don't know that I think she was, unfortunately, I think it's human beings that cause this.
yeah.
Not,
Like most of the stories.
yeah, I don't think that she was possessed. I think that evil human beings are to blame for this whole thing. And that's my take on it.
Yeah, like I just kind of wonder if like maybe the death of her mom, having to deal with her dad and aunt being horrible to her, had her have the first break, and then whenever they passed, she had like another breakdown.
Right. That would make sense. Because it
Um,
sounds like, and I mean, I know it doesn't really talk about her other members of her family if there were. It almost seems like she didn't really have like after her
yeah,
mom died. It doesn't seem like she had like a friend or a sister or a brother or somebody that
yeah.
she could,
Mhm.
could reach out to, but the church.
I just think the lack of substance to this. There again, I don't know if it's because it's the 1800s, but at least like Roland Doe, like you could, you at least had different accounts, and some things
Right.
lined up where other things didn't.
Right.
But there were family members and like,
This one, I like what you said about there being lack of substance. There's just not really a lot to it. It's just kind of like,
I'm kind of surprised this one is as popular as it is. It's like one of the top 10 possession stories.
really, that's surprising to me too, because it seems very, I don't know. It's just like you're possessed, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, like,
No good.
like it just that's just how it kind of seemed. And maybe it wasn't that way, but it just
Yeah.
kind of seems that way. It was just kind of like, all right, good to go now. Like, I don't know.
But yeah, honestly, like I was like, surely there's going to be a lot on this case since it's one of the most popular, and it's just not.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
It's
But
troubling to me.
was this like maybe one of the earliest documented ones, being the year it happened? Do we
Um,
think
I don't know. I feel like there were some earlier than this
the
in other
ones?
parts of the world,
Yeah,
but I bet the documentation isn't much better.
probably isn't.
Like, I don't know. I have a lot of problems with this one.
Yeah, this just, and maybe because people didn't really know how to talk about emotional and physical abuse, they just
Yeah.
classified it as this in
And
some
that
weird
that too,
way.
one account saying she started participating in intense sexual
I
acts.
mean, do you mean that maybe she was raped? Like,
Yeah, to me
you
that sounds
know?
like maybe that was abuse from possibly her father.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I just wonder if there's just not the vocabulary to talk about those sorts of things
Yeah.
then. And they're just documenting, all of this in a way that we're like, what does this mean?
And I think one thing that's also troubling to me is like, are we kind of doing what people do today? And it's like, oh, well, she's a woman that must be emotions,
Oh,
because
she's
they took
breaking down.
Right, because they take Roland Doe's case so serious, and it's very, very similar. And I think at the end you can tell he was faking it.
Right.
I mean, I guess we're kind of not buying into it in either case, but I don't remember thinking he had any kind of like emotional disturbance. I just think he was being kind of a shithead.
Yeah, he was just kind of being a brat. Where
Yeah.
I feel that this woman seriously abused.
Yeah.
It's a different situation. Yeah, like I know that they had the tragic death. Like he lost his aunt that he was super close to, and she lost her mom. So they have that in common. But I feel like Roland was just a little shit ass.
Yeah.
I feel like this poor thing had just all this horrible stuff happen to her, no outlet, no way to get help. And then it's like, and you're right, like, do we just classify this as emotional female or melting down?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a good thing we're not, because I mean, obviously made it to the top 10 exorcisms. But I think that there's more to it than a demon possessed her. I think some pretty horrible shit happened to her that needs to be addressed. There's some elephants in the room.
And I wonder if the lack of substance is from some historical editing. Like, she didn't keep a journal. Nobody kept a journal on any of this stuff.
Right.
I think it's really odd too that it seems like she doesn't have any siblings, or at least they're not mentioned, or you can't figure that out.
Right. So you don't really have anybody else's account for any of this.
And in the second exorcism, she was the one that contacted Father Theo. I don't know if I mentioned that. She reached out directly to him. And it's like, well, if it's the 1800s and her father passed away, and then probably the next person who would care for her would be her aunt, also passed away, is she kind of a ward of the state? Like, I doubt she can own anything.
I was wondering that too. Like, was it, or was it a situation where she was almost orphaned?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because there wasn't a place for her to go. So, I mean, could this have not even really been an exorcism, but a situation where the nuns are kind of, maybe because of her age, like she's not like a child that could be adopted or anything. She's almost maybe at that age, could be married off or whatever horrible thing women could do back then. And maybe it was just like that in between time. And that's why she stayed there for those months.
Yeah. It's all just
very... stories. Or could these just be stories that were made up about her? Kind of like Kevin's neighbor. Remember? Home Alone. Yeah. Like,
that's true. Maybe she just got in a fight with her son.
Like maybe she just needed a place to be until, she had another place. And they made up this whole story about the exorcism, and none of it's true.
Yeah. And also like the intense sexual acts thing. It makes me think of the Crucible. You remember?
Oh my God, yes.
Kind of like, oh, she's getting wild in the woods and doing demonic shit. It's just like, red. Is she really?
Like, yeah, what do you mean by that? Like, that could mean a lot of things. Like, we saw her stockings. Like,
yeah, like what?
She's loose. She's a loosey goosey.
It just so much of it just doesn't add up to me.
There's just a lot of blanks for me that need to be filled in, but it's just not. I can't really say possession for sure, because there's just not enough for me.
I'm just shocked that it's such a big
story. Is it because there's really not that many possessions?
That's what I'm thinking.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's just a small pool.
Thank God. Is that what...
I don't know. But I was really, honestly, like by the time I researched this, I was like, well, you're too deep into it now, not change.
Yeah, I'm not turning back. We're going with it. I've done that. That was kind of like me and Yule. I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I mean, I'm too into it.
And I kept looking. I was like, surely there are other accounts or other witnesses.
It's really interesting, though. I mean, I just like, what really happened? I wonder. What's the real story?
And it's just, I feel like, let's say that these outbursts were caused by emotional, scars. It doesn't sound like an exorcism is going to help you with that. So I'm like, how do you just, oh, I'm good.
Yeah. Which is why I was thinking, like, maybe she's staying there for safety.
I just don't understand it. It's very, very weird.
It just seems weird that, basically, but I don't know. I mean, there weren't really mental places, or a place like psychiatry really wasn't big, like, especially for women. Where would she go?
They would just put everybody in an asylum.
Like, where would she go to talk to someone that had just, dealt with the stuff she's dealt with, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe it's just a way they could protect her. And then all these stories surfaced about it being an exorcism, and it wasn't.
I don't know.
Like, don't these have to be approved like by Vatican City and all of this stuff?
Yeah, I think so. And it sounds like they were approved.
Wonder if they did that just to hide her out, to keep her safe.
I don't know. It's very odd.
I don't know either. I don't know. This one just doesn't, I don't know. This one just doesn't really sit with me. I'm just kind of like, I think it's a classic case of an abused woman.
Yeah, I'm not buying possession in this one.
I'm with you.
I was more convinced of Roland Doe's initially.
Well, Roland Doe's, I'm like, oh shit, for sure. And then towards the end, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But this one, even from the beginning, I'm like, I don't know.
Like, this doesn't seem right. Like, you turn 14 and then suddenly you're just, I want to hurt priests.
Yeah, that doesn't seem, I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me. I'm saying no possession.
I'm saying no possession either.
For sure.
Well, I know that was a very anticlimactic episode. And I think we're going to take a break from doing possessions for a while just because, well, there is one possession, but I need to get the book. There's one possession I'll voluntarily do, but overall, like, even other cases I started looking at, there's just not a lot of substance with these.
But, you would think okay, so if you have to go to Vatican City and you have to, there are these rules you have to follow, right, to do an exorcism, you would think that these would be way more documented than they are, like, because that seems like a lot. You would need a lot of evidence to get that order, but it just seems like there's not. I mean, I thought Roland Doe there was, but this one, I'm like, there's just really not a lot to it.
Yeah, it's like not until the Warrens did they start really documenting things.
Yeah, so you figure that's a lot of time that we just don't know. Like, this is all we have.
I mean, and I think my problem too is the people performing these exorcisms believe in possessions. Whereas I don't think a psychiatrist, of course they weren't around at the time, would be buying this at all.
Right. That's very true too.
So I don't know.
Good point.
It kind of makes me question all possessions.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Because thus far, this is the second one I've covered, and neither sound legit.
Yeah. I just don't know about the levitating. Like, I want to see documentation of that.
Oh, I would have to see that physically with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Before I buy that.
That just seems, and I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. It's just there has never been any cases where I'm like, yes, like, for sure. Yeah. And like this one, I was like, no, I don't.
Yeah. So that one case I had mentioned to you off air.
Right.
Which I'm not going to name it because I wouldn't be surprised if I do cover that one. Like I said, the thing that drew me to that one was the person knowing things that they otherwise shouldn't know. Right. That's at least some sort of validation. Now I'm intrigued and want to read the book.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely.
Oh, and also this person just sounds like a really cool witchy kind of lady.
Oh, the author or the person that got possessed?
The possessed person.
Oh, wow. So you kind of wonder if
she sounds kind of mysterious and sexy.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh.
Okay.
Let's learn more about this lady.
All right. Let's hear her possession story.
Yeah. Possession or obsession?
Oh. That's good. Good stuff. Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
I don't know.
Well, so Adele will be traveling home for the holidays, and we hope that we're going to do some paranormal stuff. So do we want to go ahead and spin the wheel, or do we want to wait till after you get back? I totally I put her on the fly like right now. She's like,
yeah, thanks for that. I don't know. Do you want to go ahead and at least see your topic?
Yeah, let's at least spin it, and then we'll decide when to do it. So regardless, we'll have something fun for you for sure.
Okay, here it is. I checked off possession.
Yeah.
So that's not an option now.
Not an option now. Okay. Right. Darn it.
What's it gonna be?
Well, I don't know. It's spinning pretty quick.
Cryptid.
Ooh, your favorite.
Yes. I was hoping to get a cryptid again soon. All right, you got cryptid. That'll be fun.
That will be fun. I always enjoy the cryptids.
So many fun little cryptids out there.
So many little fun cryptids. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you still collecting your cryptkins?
No, I mean, I have the 3 here and I didn't buy any more.
So it's not like your Beanie Baby and Pog possession? Obsession?
No, I could literally go hog wild with collecting these little things. It's taking a lot.
Adele is a collector of things.
I just go through small bouts of obsessions and then I'm over it.
Yeah.
I did that with, Beanie Babies, Pogs, basketball cards, Tegan and Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think
hey, but now I'm obsessed with this podcast, so
yeah, you are. So this is a good obsession. Hopefully you won't get sick of us.
Yeah, let's get that. We'll see.
If it just abruptly stops, it's because Adele's over us.
I'm just like, I'm tired of doing that.
I need something else to do.
I'm into Hot Wheels now.
I've been placing some Hot Wheels. Well, if you're traveling, we really hope that you stay safe out there. I know there'll be a lot of people, a lot of emotions, a lot of craziness. So stay safe. And as we say here, thanks for listening. Stay safe.
Stay curious.
And never trust the living.
That's right.
We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for listening.
Happy Yule.
Happy Yule.